Hello and welcome. My name is Frank Lee. I'm a senior product manager here at Appian. And for this session, I will talk about how to supercharge your automation COE by uniting people, AI, and robots. But first, let's take a brief look back through history. This is Unimate. It was the first mass-produced industrial robot to be used in manufacturing. Before Unimate, robots were designed specifically in manufacturing to do one thing and one thing only. Unimate was the first robot that could be programmed and remember a set of steps to replicate actions that humans would otherwise do. The first uses of Unimate were to do the things that were dangerous for humans, such as moving hot materials, stacking heavy, bulky materials together. It complemented humans in the assembly line very well. 60 years later, the automotive industry is one of the most highly automated manufacturing industries. When you think of an automotive assembly line, you probably think about something like this, where it's all robots that do the work. However, after 60 years of innovation, humans are still critical to assembly lines today. This is a video from Ford's manufacturing plant. Here you see robots and humans working seamlessly together, each doing things that they are uniquely equipped to do. Robots have their limitations, even when it comes to repetitive tasks. They're not well equipped to handle everything. We've had modern, innovative companies set out to push the boundaries of what automation can do in car manufacturing. Tesla is a good example of that. But even at Tesla, they realized that excessive automation was a mistake, that humans are underrated. So I tell the story just to illustrate how automation in manufacturing got started and where we are now with it. Similar to the manufacturing industry in the 60s, we're just getting started with automation in enterprise companies. Over the next decade, we'll be seeing a lot of changes to how people perform white-collar work. We believe that the future of work is going to be people plus robots plus AI, each performing tasks that they are uniquely suited to perform. For humans, it's high-value, complex cognitive work. For robots, it's rule-based, high-volume work. And for AI, it's high-volume, simple cognitive work. And then workflows are going to be the thing that string all of them together. Companies that can structure their work around this model are going to be at a big advantage going forward. However, they need to be able to break down the right capabilities they need to solve the complex problems that they have. They're going to need governance to make sure that the right things are happening and we're using the right technologies to build the right things. This is the role of the Automation Center of Excellence, or COE, within a company. A COE needs to bring all of these technologies together. They need to allow the company to select the right technology for the right use case, to eliminate silos between IT and business, prioritize business impact, and scale the automation program. They're also going to need enterprise-wide governance. Without an effective governance structure, business and IT will often deploy siloed strategies without talking to each other, resulting in a higher total cost of ownership for automation operations. This will prevent companies from scaling and have misaligned priorities. We have built the Robotic Workforce Manager to help organizations tackle these exact challenges that we have laid out here. This is built using Appian, and I will go through the two modules of RWM, Automation Planner and Control Center, to explain how this will help your automation COE solve these challenges that we've laid out and adapt to how business is going to function in the future. So I'll first go through Automation Planner. The purpose of Automation Planner is to help your automation COE scale and govern your enterprise automation practice. And for this, I will go ahead and share what that looks like. So here we see the main dashboard of Automation Planner. The purpose of this dashboard is to provide someone in a COE a singular view of how automations are doing in production, the technologies that are being used of automations in production, and the health of the automation request pipeline, both seeing automations by status and new requests by business units throughout time. We also have a grid here that lays out all of the automation requests that have been submitted with important information like the expected technologies to be used, the status of this automation, and the business unit that submitted it. We can go ahead here and filter on an automation and drill into it for more details about this request. Here we see a full audit log of all of the approvals that this automation request went through, including how much time it spent in each step. We can also see the individual that approved this automation request at each time and what time the approval was submitted. We can also take a look at the original details of the request for further information. We also have a graph here that helps you visualize the impact that your automations have. This is the ROI graph, and it will help you see how much value your company is getting out of the automations that you have deployed. Here we can filter on instance if you use multiple instances or multiple RPA vendors. And we can even filter on the individual robotic processes to see which robotic processes are generating high value and which ones are not generating value. Next, I'll go through what it looks like to submit a new automation request and certain pieces of the approval process. As I do this, keep in mind that everything that I'm showing here is built using Appian, so that everything that we have is just a baseline and can be modified to meet whatever business needs or use cases that your company has, both in terms of the information that's submitted and the review steps and processes. So here is an easy wizard for anyone in your company to go ahead and submit an automation request. We're going to go ahead and call this contractor onboarding process. Fill in a description here. Onboarding, I can type business justifications that saves time. We'll say this is 30 minutes per request, takes 3 individuals, and is done 50 times a month. We'll say this is coming from the operations business unit and is not partially automated. So I'll click continue, and this goes to a form that a user fills in to help identify automation characteristics. Based on the information that a user fills in here and the next screen, we can intelligently recommend what technologies to use to fulfill this request. The first question that we have is whether this is a process, which is a long-lived activity that usually involves decision-making and multiple stakeholders, or if it's a task, which is a short-lived activity which contains repetitive rule-based entries. Here, we are going to say that this is a process, but that contains repetitive manual entries. Here you will see some questions about the attributes of this request, of the business process rather, that we are capturing here. I'll go ahead and fill in some of this information and go ahead and click continue. Here we see a screen for the user to help fill in the systems involved, as well as capabilities that could be used for this business process. I'll go ahead and select documents here, and what this will do is it will help determine if there are any AI services that could be used to fulfill this automation request. Here we'll see the systems that we'll need to put in that this automation will touch. We'll say it needs, we need to add users to Oracle ERP, and we need to create a user in SAP. We'll go ahead and click continue here, and then optionally attach any supporting documentation. We'll go ahead and skip that and say submit new request. So now let's go to the pending request page. This page is for your reviewers of automation requests to see what things are waiting for their evaluation on. There's going to be multiple stages in a review process. There's many things that organizations want to determine, like how much business value does this provide, how much time will this take to implement, things that will help determine budgetary decisions. I'm not going to go through all of the steps that we have defined here, but I will highlight one that's rather important to the whole automation approval process. So I'll click on this pending request here and perform a review as a technical COE persona. Here you can see what stage of the review process it's in. And then on the left-hand side, you can see the request details as well as previous reviews that have been performed. On the right-hand side, you see that the system has already given you recommendations on what technology should be used to fulfill this automation request. Here, it recommends using RPA, BPM, and AI services for documents. We also have an RPA score here. Clicking on this will give you more information on the attributes of this business process, and it will help you determine how well suited this automation request is to being automated at all. So given this information as a technical COE, I need to define what are the automation steps and what technologies need to be used to be able to satisfy this. Here, given the recommendations, I'll go ahead and say the first step is RPA, and that is get attachments from email. Second step needs to be in BPM, and this will be extract info and review. Here we'll need an AI substep and use OCR for this. And then we'll go ahead and use RPA to enter info into systems. Later on, once this automation request has been developed, another step here will be to link all of the automations that have been built in BPM and RPA to the steps here so that further on we have operational visibility and metrics for this automation. We also see some other fields that technical COE needs to fill in. I'm going to skip these in the interest of time. Hopefully this exercise helps you see how Appian can be used to identify how to use the right technologies to satisfy the right use cases. Here we also have a tab that outlines the systems and applications that your organization has. Drilling into one of these, such as Salesforce, you can see the automations that rely on Salesforce and the ones that are in production. You can also take a look at the next major release date of Salesforce. Given this information, you can do an impact analysis to determine, prior to this release date, what automations do I need to look into to make sure that these updates don't break? This way you can get ahead of the changes and make any adjustments to these automations as needed before the update comes. All right, so let's take a little review and see what value this provides. So Automation Planner allows you to select the right technology for the right use case. We provide intelligent recommendations for you to be able to use the technologies for the purposes that they have. We provide a governance framework for your COE and also help measure and track the ROI of automation in an easy-to-consume dashboard to make sure that you can properly see the value that you are getting out of your automations. Next, we will go ahead and take a look at Control Center. The purpose of Control Center is to help manage multi-vendor automation deployments across your organization. So the first tab of Control Center is to view the automations that you have currently in production. Whereas Automation Planner helps plan your automation requests, Control Center is the operational piece that helps provide reporting, metrics, self-service, and exception management for the automations that you have in production. Drilling into an automation here, you see key metrics such as the average time it takes to run this automation, the average completion time for each step. Here you can see the BPM step takes significantly longer on average than the RPA steps. And you can also drill into each step of the automation to get more operational information on the process. So drilling into the BPM process, you can see this process in Appian, the certain metrics like instance count, number of successes and exceptions, even the time that it takes for human activity versus system activity versus lag time waiting for the human. You can also see further information on past instance details. And you can see a similar dashboard when drilling into the RPA substep here. Filtering on slightly longer time frame, you can get key insights from the metrics that are shown. For example, you can see the exception rate take a big jump from February to March. This indicates that there may have been a change in the system that caused this, and you can drill into this further and find a possible resolution for your automation here. In addition to having metrics on automations, we also have specific metrics on RPA and BPM processes. For RPA, we give a variety of statistics on all of your RPA processes across your organization, broken down to the instance types. This is a wide dashboard just to show operationally how are my RPA automations doing. You can also drill into processes. Going into each one of these will show a similar dashboard that we saw previously to look at how your robotic processes are doing. You can also filter here, and you can start processes in an ad hoc manner. Here we'll go ahead and start the new contractor onboarding. We'll give it an input file for it to use, a comment, and go ahead and kick this off on an ad hoc basis. We also provide operational data on your resources, giving you a snapshot of how many you have online and offline. You can also drill into resources to get key data such as how much is this resource utilized across time. We show a similar view for queues. Drilling into a queue will give you information on work items that the queue has processed, and we provide a calendar view for you to take a look and see what automations you have scheduled that are upcoming. We also have operational reporting on BPM process models. These are process models in Appian, and you can get a snapshot of how many processes you have, the count of instances successful and exceptions, and you can drill into each one of these for further reporting data. A key component of Control Center is exception management. With this tab here, you can seamlessly have robots and humans work together to solve your business needs. This is a case where an exception manager for your company can have a one-stop shop for all of the exception management that they need to do on automations across the board. Exceptions are broken out broadly into two categories: alerts and system exceptions. Alerts, for example, is a notification when something happens, like in this instance, a resource went from online to offline. I'll go ahead and accept this. This just leverages Appian case management. We'll put this in progress, save it, and then here I am telling my organization that I am going to take a look at why this resource went offline, and then once I'm done with that, I'll go ahead and close out this case. Returning here to the exceptions tab, we'll also take a look at work item exceptions, which is a system exception. An example of this is when a work item fails to process for whatever reason, we will automatically generate this exception for someone to take a look at. Here, we can see in this process of onboarding, an email was missing. So I'll go ahead, I'll accept this first. I'll go ahead and say this is in progress, save this. And then what I can do is I can actually update this item, put it in the queue, and execute the process again. So I'll go ahead and click this. I will enter in an email. And then upon clicking this update item and close, this work item will have this updated information that I have entered put back in the queue to be executed again. We also allow you to define your own business exceptions that you would want to manage here. An example of that is if in a robotic process flow, you always want someone to have a manual approval step, you can build that easily using an Appian process model, have a task, and then surface it here for your users to see. So let's recap the benefits of Control Center. Control Center allows you to manage RPA exceptions automatically with seamless collaboration between robots and people. It also empowers business users with self-service capabilities and allows you to gain insights into your automations through key metrics. This really helps robots and humans work seamlessly together. As mentioned, RWM is easy to customize. It's built using standard Appian functionality, so anything that you would want to change to adapt to your business needs, you have a low-code platform to be able to do so. What we have done is we've given you a baseline to start from using Appian best practices that you can then change to whatever business case you need to satisfy. RWM also supports multiple robotic sources. Of course, it works with Appian RPA. If you purchase Appian RPA, you get the Robotic Workforce Manager solution for free to integrate with the Appian RPA bots that you have. This works out of the box with no additional configuration needed. If you want to use RWM for UiPath, Blue Prism, or Automation Anywhere, you can purchase it as a solution. Automation Anywhere will be supported in the next RWM release. And finally, if you want to learn more, you can watch a previous Appian World presentation that Forrester has given called Advanced Process Automation by Keeping Automation Technologies in Their Own Lane. I would highly recommend that you take a look at this. It has a lot of value in understanding how different technologies can work together to help your automation goals. We also have a Gartner report on the Appian website on moving beyond RPA to deliver hyper-automation, linked here. And if you are interested in exploring RWM more, you can talk to your account executive or reach out to sales@appian.com. Thank you and best of luck on your automation journey.